Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're just joining us, welcome to the TCC 2020 Enterprise Track Briefing. We have earlier concluded the briefing session with Gadesha, and we'll be starting with a briefing session with Lumens Auto. We will have one more briefing session later with TriStar Group. So again, I am Candice from Enterprise Singapore, and I'm part of the TCC 2020 co-organizing team, and will help facilitate this session. So Lumens Auto has sponsored one enterprise level challenge statement this year. Lumens Auto is a homegrown company that has been providing industry lead innovation service offerings to drivers, such as a rapid and responsive support team and driver skills enhancement. It aims to provide high quality and reliable car leasing for short-term, long-term, and corporate needs. So to recap some administrative pointers, each challenge sponsor will have 15 minutes to share more about the challenge statement, including the motivations, technicalities, as well as desired outcomes. This will be followed by a Q&A session of up to 15 minutes. So we would like to encourage everyone to type questions in the Q&A tab below in your Zoom app. And so let's begin right now. We have Cham from Lumens, and he will be covering the challenge statement on seeking solutions to reduce accident rates among drivers. Over to you, Cham. Sorry, Cham, I think you are on mute.
Okay, thank you, Candice. I'm representing Lumens to present the problem statement for TCC 2020. Our business is pretty simple in the sense that we are just mainly specializing in car leasing. We rent mostly to drivers who actually drive for the ride-hailing platform, such as Gojek, Grab, and the smaller players like Rides. Because these drivers are driving for this platform, they are usually on the roads most of the time. An average driver is usually about on the road more than 10 hours a day, and they clock an average of more than 100,000 a year. So the probability of them getting into accident is pretty high, and in some instances, we have driver getting into accident more than 5 times in about a few months. So the issue with accident is not just the cause of accident, cause of repair, but there's body injuries, there's death in a lot of these instances. So we would like to seek a solution to actually see how we can reduce the rate of accident within our driver. And because I think this is not just for our fleet, this is actually an industry problem, and with this solution, hopefully we can roll out this solution to the whole industry. So this will, the good thing about this solution is it will help to save life, it will help to reduce cost of repair, it will reduce insurance premium for the fleet owners. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of benefit if we can find a cost-effective solution to this problem statement. So right now, what Lumens is doing is we have GPS devices that are installed in all our vehicles. So through this GPS service provider, we are able to track pass acceleration, deceleration, speed, the amount of time they spend on the road, and so on and so forth. So what we have been doing is we are trying to use this data to predict how often our driver will get into accident. So for example, we look at the top 5 accident-prone drivers within our database, and we look at how often are they doing harsh acceleration to identify the probability of them getting an accident. But right now, because we only started doing this recently, so we are seeking help or any solution that might help us expedite this whole process, so that we are able to get to a solution faster. Other than such data analytics, we also have standalone cameras that are installed in our cars. We have actually spoke with some startup that actually use car cam to deliver warnings to the drivers in the event that they get too near to the car in front, or when the car behind is getting too near. So these are actually some of the solutions that we are looking for as well. But in our cases, because the cameras are standalone, obviously there's some restriction in the sense that data is stored on an SD card and the data is overwritten 3 to 4 hours. So we are open to solution whereby the car can do a crowd upload to the cloud, and the analysis is conducted there. So we are open to this solution as well. So other than that, I think other things that we might be considering is, for example, we can look at accident hotspot within Singapore. Then maybe every time a driver drives past that spot, there's an app that sends a warning to the drivers to warn them of the accident hotspot, so that they will drive more carefully. So we do not restrict the way the solution is provided. We are open to any form of solution that might reduce the rate of accident amongst drivers, not just within a fleet, but in general. So currently our fleet is mostly Japanese and Korean. So I think I mentioned earlier, they can drive up to 14 hours because these cars are rented out on a long-term basis. We kept a fleet for replacement. So with this fleet, I mean, there's the cost of car ownership is pretty high in Singapore. So we are more than happy to provide this car for the participant to test whatever solution they might have, or in the event that they want to do a data analytics solution, they can come to us for all this data as well. The desired outcome is pretty straightforward, because like we mentioned earlier, the accident rate is a very daily part of the business. We want to reduce accident rate as much as possible, because with reduction accident rate, our cost will go down, the idle time will go down as well. And so we are just hoping that a solution can help us to reduce accident rate by about 20 to 30%, which will actually help us reduce costs by much more than the 20 to 30%, both quantitative and qualitative percentage. So as I mentioned also earlier, that we want to commercialize this solution not just for the Singapore market and not just for car rental. This solution has very valuable potential to be commercialized. So we are happy to work with any provider right now that is able to come up with a simple, effective solution that we can commercialize. So time frame wise, 6 to 1 year, it is already available in the market. We are more than happy to take a look now as well. So there's no issue on time frame. Geographical, I think this is a main issue in the sense that the solution can be developed elsewhere outside of Singapore, but the testing and installation have to be done in Singapore because the whole car fleet is here. So other than that, I don't think I have anything else. And Candice, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Cham, for your presentation. I think you mentioned earlier where you want to have it's a scalable kind of solution where it's not just available in Singapore. In the future, you could also test it to other markets, and I think that's something that's very valuable to solution providers. So perhaps let's take a look at the Q&A to see whether there's any questions right now. Okay, they do not have any questions right now, but I do have a question of my own. I was just wondering, I know like in terms of the accident rates, what is the most kind of common accident that you guys have and encounter?
Right now is real end. Real end is I think is the most common in Singapore. We are not sure why, but I think up to maybe 60 to 70% of the accident is either we real end someone or someone real end us. And obviously the second one is a side, we call it side swipe, whereby the car just changed lane without doing any checking, and it resulted in the car being hit by the one that is making the lane change. So these are actually the two main ones. Other than that, usually we don't have much accident whereby where drivers actually knock into somebody on the road. We seldom see that within our driver. It's more being rear-ended or rear-ending people.
So I guess in terms of solutions, those would be the main things that one of the main incidents that you want to prevent because of the prevalence of the number of accidents related to that. Okay.
Yes.
Looks like. Thank you so much. Let's look at the Q&A now. We have a question from Tom. It says, apart from your OBD data, would you have the claims accident data that you may be able to share?
Yes, we have that, but there's quite a bit. I'm not sure which part of the claim accident in terms of claim loss ratio or location of accident and stuff like that. I mean, we do have this data if required. If the participants require this data, we will be able to provide it.
Okay, would the data be in digitalized form or would it be more?
For the loss claim, all this is in digital form. But let's say if one accident, because accident is actually because every accident in Singapore you have to do an accident report using a GIA. So I believe GIA has a database of all these accident reports. It's digitalized, but I don't think it's digital in the sense that you can see it on the GPS map. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Tom, I hope that answered your question. Once again, we would like to reiterate, if you have any questions, please direct it to the Q&A tab below, so Cham can answer all your questions right now. I think Tom has also replied directly to what you have mentioned. Yeah. All right. So do we have any further questions from the rest? Let's just give it a few seconds over here. Okay, I think we do not have any questions for now. So I think you probably really did address. We have one question from Steve. Yes. So he says, with regard, maybe I'll just read out the question since I don't think everyone can see it. So with regard to the commercialization of the solution, what are your targeted regions for phase 1 expansion outside of Singapore? Cham, please.
Right now, we do have some partners in Indonesia and Philippines. So I think if we are going ahead, if there's a solution that can be commercialized, the Indonesia and Philippines will be the first two places that we will be looking at, because we already have some partners there. They are working on the rental business.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess, like you mentioned, the plan is to first look at Indonesia and Philippines, but with the subsequent plans, perhaps will you be looking to expand and test the solution perhaps within the ASEAN region first, or would you look further, or you're open to any locations?
We are open to any location. There's no issue. In fact, I think we actually work with Enterprise Singapore to actually evaluate some solution from Israel as well. So for us, I think location is not the main issue, but it's more like, let's say we want to commercialize this solution. We think that it's best to go to a place where we have already some contact and we know what the market condition is like.
Okay, thanks. That was very helpful. I think we have no further questions for now, but let's just give it another few seconds to see. We have one from Guan. So what kind of warning devices to avoid accidents do you have already installed in the car, in the vehicle?
Okay, for currently right now, we don't really have a warning device installed to our car. So, but some of our vehicles comes with some this kind of safety feature. For example, Toyota, I think it's Hyundai. Hyundai have a lane assist solution whereby it sends the road marking on the road. So if the car get on the road marking, there will be a beeping sound to warn the driver to get back in lane or to check the blind spot. There are some of these already installed on the car, but the problem is it's not being installed in all the car, and such additional function, safety function actually costs a lot more. So that's why we are looking at is there a possibility of a cheaper solution or more cost effective that we can install on all the vehicles and at the same time generate some data for us to do some analytics. Yeah.
So we're also looking for a very cost-effective solution as well.
Yeah, I mean, we are okay to pay. We are okay to pay, for example, for our onboard devices such as the car cam. We are already paying for it. So if let's say there's a device actually hardware, then we are more than happy to explore that as well. Solution, no, I think this is not a major issue for the proprietary device IT or this. I mean, it can remain with the provider. We can be a customer. Obviously, for us, we would more want to get into collaboration where we can expand together lah. That would be our preference. But at the end of the day, if let's say the solution provider will just want to sell us a solution, we're happy to explore this as well. Not a major issue. Yeah.
Okay. So just to recap for everyone, in terms of the question was whether the propriety of the solution will remain with the solution provider or with Lumens. So do we have any other questions? Anyone? Please do direct it to the Q&A tab again. Okay, I think we do not have any further questions for now. So to the participants, if you have any further questions or future questions for Lumens and for Chiam that you'd like him to answer, please direct them to TCC 2020 at enterprisesg.gov.sg, and we will forward it to Chiam and Lumens as well. So we will also look forward to receiving all your proposals by 15 September 2020. That's the deadline. And Chiam, just want to check, do you have any concluding statements that you would like to share with the participants of your briefing?
Okay, I think to conclude, I think what we are looking at is not just, I mean, for Lumens Auto, it's actually for the whole industry as well. It's not just private hire or car leasing, actually for the whole automotive industry. So any solution that that can be developed is actually good for the whole industry. So I think for us, what we can offer is obviously in Singapore, the price of a vehicle is pretty expensive. So what we can offer is a chance for the participant to test it and generate the proof of concept with real life in real life situation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chiam.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. So we'll conclude the session for Lumens Auto right now. And so we will move on to the subsequent section for TriStar at 5 o'clock. So we will all take a break right now and we'll come back later at 5 o'clock. So thank you everyone for joining us and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.